Hi everyone and welcome back to Bushel Park Golf Club. So today you join me on the 11th and 12th hole. 11th hole is a short par 4. Up and over a brow of a hill, slightly left to right but marginally. Really the thing to avoid here is this bunker on the top of the hill. So first thing we want to look at is what club we're going to be selecting. So it's 185 yards to get over that bunker. There's no danger really down the left side of the bunker, all the danger is long right of the bunker. So realistically we either want to be well short of it, over it into the left, or if you are long enough we're going to be going over the whole lot, so over the tree line as well. So I've taken a hybrid here, so 185 yards. I'm going to go over the right hand corner of the bunker. As we said on the tee, the thing to avoid here is the bunker. So I've played a club that goes about 190 through the air. It's quite soft, so it's going to stop fairly quickly. So I've carried it over the bunker, hit right hand rough and just stopped and just popped its way off back into the fairway. But what I've left myself is a full club in. So with this pin being at the front edge, it's a little bit easier on that respect to have a full shot. What I don't want is really to have a real delicate shot when that pin's right at the front and nowhere really to land the ball. This time of year you can get a little bit softer, so you can get a bit more aggressive at the flags, but if we're talking summer golf, you've got to be bouncing this ball in or hitting a fuller shot in with some spin. So here is perfect location for that kind of playing to a number that I feel comfortable with, to give myself the best chance of getting close with my second shot. Now one thing to contend with here is this ball is above my feet, so it's just anticipating what the ball's going to do. Now, ball above your feet is going to drift from right to left, and the more loft I have in my hands, the more this drift. So me hitting a gap wedge, I've got 110 yards. This ball is going to want to drift considerably right to left. So I've just got to be careful with where I line myself and where I aim myself. What I don't want to do is aim towards any danger. So if it does go straight, I'm not putting myself in trouble. So for example, I don't want to be aiming at this bunker on the right, because if I do hit it straight or the wind holds the ball up, I'm going to have a bunker shot next. I want to be aiming to the right side of the green and potentially hitting a fade in, but we can talk about that at a later stage. But what I'm going to be doing for this shot is I'm going to be knocking it down a little bit, so I'm going to hit a little bit lower, a bit flatter. So I'm going to move the ball back in my stance a bit, which encourages the ball to fade a fraction. So that should just soften off the effect of this ball moving from right to left because of the slope. So my target line is going to be the right edge of the green, or just inside that bunker. Ball's a little bit back in my stance, so just forward of centre here, so a bit like a full swing would be. I'm just going to trap it through my full shot. So I've still got a little bit of drift. Ball still wanted to go from right to left, but it started just to the right of the flag and finished about 8 to 10 foot left of it. So it's wanted to still drift that way because of the effects of the slope. But it's just giving me an idea of how this ball's going to work, and certainly from these ball above your feet lies, the ball is always going to want to curve that way. If you are going with a longer club here, so a 7 iron or a 6 iron, you aren't going to see as much curve from the ball in the air, but what you will remember to see is that as the ball lands, it's still going to be landing on a slope, so it's still going to want to kick from right to left. And even this shot, if this hits the green, this ball is still going to want to jump to the left, even if it's got loads of spin on it. It's always going to be wanting to jump that way. So ideally, if I'm looking to land this on the flag or close to it, I want it to land to the right to allow for that jump as well. We don't just want to see the ball moving in the air, we want to see what happens when it lands as well. Okay, so I'm finished sort of 8 to 10 feet to the left of the flag, but I have finished a good sort of 10-15 feet short. So got to putt slightly across the slope here. There's not much of a slope on this green when you're actually on the putting surface itself, but around the edges, around the collars, it does all bowl away. So it is worth looking at around the edges, especially if you're chipping back on this front portion. The green will falls back towards the edge, so anything landing short is going to have a chance of going back at you. Certainly if you're pitching a ball in, if it hits that front edge, it can just kill it and it's not going to bounce on and release. So the actual putting surface itself is pretty flat, but like I said, just those edges, everything around this front edge and also around this back left corner all kind of bowls away and falls off towards the edge. So for this putt I've got here, I've got 15 feet. I'm not going to be aiming outside the hole. Realistically, I'm only going to favour the right side, just because I feel that slope in the bunker on the right It's possibly been built up a little bit, but not a huge amount. It's a relatively straight putt, like I say. So really, I'm looking trying to get the pace right. So as always, we're going through the full routine. I pulled it a little bit, started a little bit to the left of where I wanted it to start, and it's fallen away at the end, but not massively. Like I said, there's not a huge amount of break here. I was aiming to the right edge of the flag, and when it went past the hole, it's just missed on the outside left. But I give myself a chance, got the ball past the hole, and it's a nice straightforward 2-putt. So 12th tee box. This is one of my favourite tee shots to hit on the golf course, purely because you have to think quite a lot about what you're doing, and I think it draws a lot of people into thinking what they have to do on this hole. So again, like the last, you've got 3 options really. You've got the longer guys, you've got the short guys, and obviously you've got your average guys on distance wise. So for the longer guys, you've got a ditch to contend with. This time of the year, breeze up, ball's not quite travelling quite so far, that ditch now becomes a bit more of a problem. In the summer, it might be easy to get over. This time of year, has to be a good hit. The second one is the bunker, and this is more for your average to shorter guys. So average guys, that bunker becomes a problem because that could potentially be the landing area, and for the shorter guys, that could be their run out. Okay, it's very easy on this hole to look at it and go, it's a long way, therefore I have to hit it as far as possible each time. And the truth is, you don't. You play this within yourself. You can play this as a plodding hole. So for me, I hit my hybrid around 200 yards through the air comfortably into this sort of wind. No wind, it's kind of 220 on the fly. So it'll roll out to about 230, 235. So this club, I can hit even 3 of these. If I don't hit one particularly well, I'm still getting there. No, but realistically, I can hit 2 of these and then I can have a wedge playing in. So you don't have to always play your longest shot. And yes, I agree, some of the shorter guys might not get there in 3, but you know, generally those guys have got a handicap that's going to allow them to get there in 4 shots and then rely on the putter. So I like this tee shot for that reason. I have to think about where you want to aim and also what you're doing with where you're landing the ball. It's not just to stand there and hit it as far as you can. So I'm hitting hybrid today. Now hybrid takes out the ditch. It also takes out the bunker as well. So I've got nothing to worry about for left and right and short and long. So I can do a nice confident swing on this one. Really, it's all about my target line. I need to hit the fairway. So if I hit the fairway, it's going to give me the best chance of hitting a good second shot and leave myself a short third trying to attack this flag. So wind's a little bit into today, so I'm going to be aiming just left of this bunker. And a nice confident swing. Okay, so my tee shot's landed just on the right edge of the fairway. I've landed just before we started to get to the downslopes. I'm just on this flat plateau here, so couldn't really place it much better than that. Now this does leave me 305, 310 yards left into this hole. So realistically, going for it in 2 from here is not going to happen. So I've given myself the best chance of making a birdie with my wedges, not necessarily trying to attack the green in 2 and chipping a putt round the green. So that's really a decision we're making based on whether or not I want to try and go over the ditch, or you know, what sort of I want to give myself. So it does change from week to week from when you're playing, but today I'm playing it with a hybrid, what I'm comfortable with, and I've got 305 yards left. So now really what I've got to do is I've got to give myself my best chance of getting close to the wedges. Now wedges that I feel comfortable with, really 100 yards and less. So 90 yards is a good number for me. 110 would be the next one, like we did with the last shot. Those 2 numbers I feel comfortable with. I've got a wedge that can comfortably cope with that. So I want to be looking at hitting this just over 200 yards, leave myself sort of that 100-yard mark. If I hit a good one, it'll get a little bit more out. If I don't quite catch it, I'll be left with that sort of 110 mark. So I've got 4 iron I'm hitting here. Again, really trying to get myself down the right side of this fairway, really. So it does all kind of camber in and fall from right to left. So hitting the fairway is an important part here. Another thing to remember is, again, ball's going to be above my feet, so it's going to want to drift that way. So for those of you that do want to try and get close to this green, Most of the time this ball on the fairway especially is going to be above your feet, so it's going to want to go left. So it does really close down the pin a little bit. Obviously not today, I'm not going for the green from here, so get myself a nice target line and go through my motions. Now, before I do that, one thing to remember is if you're making the shot easier, don't neglect the important parts, which is pre-shot routine, picking a target line, going through the motions. It's very easy to go, oh, I'm just going to hit this up there, and it's very easy to mess those shots up. You've got to have a clear idea about what you want to do, see it in your mind, then you can pull the trigger on it. So even though I'm not attacking a flag, I'm just trying to get this ball up there, I'm still going to go through my whole motion. I'm still going to pick a target line, I'm still going to go through the whole routine. So target line is outside left branch of the oak tree. Set myself up and then let it go. Okay, so a little bit of oversight on my part. Wind's a little bit down off the right hand side on here with my second shot, and I couldn't feel it when I second shot, but certainly down here now I'm outside the tree line, we can feel the winds coming certainly towards me. I've got roughly the yardage I'd expected. It has pitched in the rough, so it's taken a little bit of run off. So rather than having that kind of 110 mark, I've now got 120. And I am in the left-hand rough, sorry. So I've got plenty of room to work with. I've got plenty of clubs to work from, and 120 is not hugely outside of what I feel comfortable with anyway. So for this shot, I'm going to be playing 3/4 pitching wedge. Now the difference between a full wedge and a 3/4 wedge are really ball position and weight distribution. So for a full wedge, because the body's moving like a full swing, weight's going to shift back and forward. For a pitch, like we're doing greenside pitching, ball forward, weight forward, same applies here. I'm not doing a full swing, so therefore I need that kind of setup position. Again, balls above my feet is going to want to drift to the right, and I've got a lot of loft in my hand still, so it's just allowing this ball to move, plus the winds from right to left. So it's all going to encourage this ball to go from right hand side to left hand side. Now I'm aiming up the left side of the green and commit to my shot. Okay, so I've got you nice and close to this one. I've also got you looking down the line that I intend to hit this putt along, so we can see how this ball's going to break as it gets towards the hole. Now the first thing you'll see is with the speed of this first putt, it's not going to move an awful lot. It won't really start moving until we start to see it slowing down. And as it slows down, it's going to fall further and further to the left. So speed is an important factor here. Now this green's got a front, so I've got a slope that slopes away to the front, flat plateau, and then everything slopes down from right to left. So this whole right hand side is higher than we have on the left hand side. That's why it's such a treacherous chip from over on that right hand side of the green. So I'm going to go through my routine. I've picked my line already. I'm going to roll this ball on my intended line. You'll be able to see the break as it falls towards the hole. So I've come up a little bit shy on my putt. I've not quite given it enough in the speed front, so it's started to break before the hole. And you can see, because it's short, it's going to finish low on that left hand side as well. I've given myself a chance. It wasn't a great putt, so just walk off from my par and move on. So that concludes our 11th and 12th hole on the course with me. Thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions or if you want anything specific covered in videos, please feel free to comment or just pop into the shop and speak to us in person. But for now, happy golfing